I really feel strongly that the training certainly played a significant role, but you really can never expect or understand what you're in for when the shooting starts.
Looking back, nearly a year after unthinkable tragedy, Highland Park is now less than a month away from marking 1 year since the parade shooting that took the lives of 7 and left dozens of others injured.
Anthony Ponce spoke with the city's leadership about how the tragedy has impacted the community, reshaped their emergency response protocols, and what is planned for this summer's 4th of July.
He has the full story tonight from Highland Park.
The impact of what happened nearly a year ago cannot be overstated. Not just the trauma, but the way the city responds to and prepares for large-scale events, how it cemented partnerships with dozens of outside agencies, and how it's preparing for this year's 4th, which it's calling a day to reclaim the parade route.
You know, we owe it to our victims to remember everything about that day.
As we really reflect upon the past year, having such an incident as we did with the shooting, there's a increased stress.
For Highland Park's public safety leaders, marking 1 year since a celebration turned tragic means navigating through not just the community's trauma, but their own. Police Chief Lou Jogman's own family was steps away from where the shooter opened fire.
I was about a block and a half away when I heard the shots. And certainly my mind raced to my family being right there in that corner.
Fire Chief Joe Schrage's family with him, riding on an antique fire truck as part of the parade, circumstances no preparedness training could ever prepare you for.
A lot of our personnel wouldn't have necessarily expected to experience it in a time of celebration. On July 4th, celebrating, having our families in the parade with us, there was a vulnerability that we're not used to.
Soon they will be leading their teams and the public through the city's 1 year remembrance, which will include a morning gathering on the front lawn of City Hall, a moment of silence at 10:14 a.m., and not a parade but a community walk. All the events will be live streamed so that those still not comfortable being in a crowd can opt out.
We're truly trying to be sensitive to the fact that people have different needs, people are going through different things, and we want to just be there for the community.
As leaders reflect on the shooting nearly a year later, what stands out isn't just the trauma, but the strength they witnessed from their teams who ran toward the danger.
They had their family members holding on to them, begging them not to come, begging them not to go look for this person because they didn't want to lose their husband, their wife, their loved one, and yet they still came.
Our training definitely carried us through the moment. There was no doubt that the personnel acted out of instinct. They didn't have to think about what they were doing.
In Highland Park, we were heavily focused on rapid response training. We do it throughout the year. We do use simunitions, which is those little paint pellets to actually simulate and go through scenario-based training.
And it wasn't just the pros who stepped up to save lives, it was also community volunteers.
Rendering aid and putting tourniquets on and helping people and kind of all that in real time just really went quickly.
Truly, I think, you know, this most tragic situation, we also saw really the very best of humankind.
That includes other communities and mutual aid partners who stepped in immediately from across the area. 1,800 people responded that day to help Highland Park's emergency response.
And then you hear those sirens coming, gives you a little boost, and then they come and they help. This was that times 1,000, times a million. I mean, just to have and see them come and run to our assistance. And they treated Highland Park like it was their community, and that is remarkable.
And in the weeks and months that followed, 118 different agencies like 211 Lake County, the North Suburban Legal Aid Clinic, and the Community Foundation all stepped in to provide everything from legal aid to crisis counseling to monetary assistance for victims and families.
Well, really, this is about community. It's about community coming together, and it's not just Highland Park, it's the entire area.
A team effort they say will no doubt help them in the future, having leveraged partnerships, bolstered capabilities like a smart 911 system, an integrated public alert warning system for cell phones, and for future large gatherings, the ability to use drones to monitor crowds.
We're planning, we're preparing, we're coordinating, we're ready, and we're going to make sure that everybody is safe.
As for next month's 4th of July, Highland Park's leaders say they're ready to provide not just security, but a sense of comfort to that day.
I hope that we can move and transition no different than the community does from that tragedy to a celebration once again.
Last year's shooting also came amid the Highland Park mayor's longtime fight against assault weapons and played a major role in the passing of Illinois' assault weapons ban. Tomorrow night, right here at 9 o'clock, my sit-down interview with Nancy Rotering on that fight and her own reflections on that day. In Highland Park, Anthony Ponce, Fox 32 Chicago.